Hey guys, Dave here from Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds, hanging out with the crew.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Ted.
Today we'll be doing a Dungeons and Dragons Monsters, and we'll be talking about the Yeti.
We will.
And the Yeti can be found on 305 and 306 of your trusty monster manual.
And then sometimes they get downright abominable.
Yeah, and this is actually a viewer request, which viewer I was just chatting with back and forth on the YouTube comments the other day, and I can't remember which one it was.
Oh,
so,
no.
apologies about
For
that.
shame.
But this was for you.
Yeah.
You wanted hobgoblins and Yetis, so here's the Yeti.
Damien, I did it all for you. I did it all
All
for
right,
you.
so we got two different versions of the Yeti here. We got the large one, and we got the huge one that's quite abominable.
They come in two different flavors.
Yeah.
Vanilla
flavors?
and extra vanilla.
That's right, yeah. Well, and they're cold. They're like a giant furry ice cream. Yeah. You could lick it. Yeti licking is a thing. It's a favorite pastime sport of our Arctic halflings. Like, it's kind of like a test of foolish bravery.
Yeah.
You go up and lick the Yeti.
Yeah. But it sucks when your tongue gets stuck
to the Yeti, and it's like flicking you around and stuff. Like, get these halflings. It's got like a half dozen halflings stuck on it. Yeah. Just walking around.
I don't even want to mention the image of the halfling licking and flicking halflings around that came to my mind.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll totally get back to some seriousness right out of the book, and I want to say that
you're saying halfling Yeti licking is not serious business.
So there's some really cool stuff in their flavor text that's written here, and what's here actually allows for some really cool tactics can either be used to exploit the Yetis, or have, as the DM, have some cool things that you can wind up working with, because it says that Yetis, when they're on the hunt, they're gonna howl. Well, those howls can bring in other Yetis, which will then cause the Yetis to fight each other.
I don't think so. I think they're going to eat you first and then fight each other.
Maybe.
But no, actually though, that does make you think. That makes for an awesome scenario where, you could do this over the course of days with players, and have it. They hear the howls of the Yeti, and maybe they even have like a brief skirmish with a Yeti or two, and then you turn it into like a chase scenario,
Right.
And they hear the two Yetis like kind of howling and coordinating their efforts, but then after a day of this, then they start hearing more Yetis.
Yeah. What if, man, you could do a thing with like Yeti breeding season, like where they all kind of congregate. Well, like the males might drive each other off or whatever, but like so they're kind of fighting each other. But then you still have to contend with like the female Yetis. Maybe in a little while you have baby Yetis to contend with. It's like then you have those moral quandaries of what do you do with baby Yetis?
Is it like clubbing a baby seal? Or
Yeah,
not?
I mean for its pelt. Yeah, except for seals have never like viciously savaged anyone with cold breath or anything like that. Whereas like Yeti absolutely would.
Well, that's true. And seals don't grow to be 3 times as tall as a human.
Yeah. I mean that's another thing to consider. But it's nice to have that sort of moral ambiguity sort of thing going on.
Like,
cool.
18 foot, man, that's like a giant. That's giant territory.
Indeed.
How cool would that be to have a friggin' Yeti and giant wrestling? Like, your players come across that.
Right, like the frost giant and the Yeti.
Yeah.
Well, the abominable Yeti is chaotic evil. So, I mean, it could totally, to totally have no problems, fighting, one of the lawful good giants.
Well, or the evil giants.
Evil turns in on itself.
Yeah.
Or you could have the frost giant with like retainers of Yetis that like it's like well I mean you could go with the non-abominable variation.
Yeah.
And basically he like kind of like you're gonna do my bidding because your cold breath doesn't really do shit to me. So he just makes them his minions basically, Yeti minions.
Yeah. That Yeti tried to cold breath me, and I slapped the dick off him.
yeah, exactly. Just punted him, straight up punted him.
Yeah. What about like the abominable Yeti, but like an awakened one?
So one that's a little more bright. You could do an evil druid.
Well, the abominable Yeti is already has a 9 intelligence.
Oh crap! I thought they were like animals.
No, and they're pretty wise too.
Yeah.
Like a 13
9, 13, 9 for your mentals.
Yeah, well, the 13 I attribute the wisdom. Animals always have a higher wisdom because of their senses.
Yeah, but that makes them, they can go pretty priestly pretty easily, so you could,
Well, yeah.
you could do like the Yeti druid, that wouldn't be an issue or a thing, like that would work.
That is so uncalled for.
Or the creepy evil druid that again uses Yetis as like his minions,
the regular Yeti is only an 8-12-7, so even then they're still
pretty smart.
They're still smart. I mean, they're just slightly stupid, slightly less intelligent than a.
They're like a commoner.
Human.
They're like a human who dumpsteaded intelligence. I mean, so it's not really like they're that dumb. Like they're like a negative
unless you're the variant or not using the variant human, and you have the +1s to everything, then you have a 9 intelligence.
Yeah, right.
With a dump stat.
Yeah. Well, and then there's that.
But even along that vein, if you had one that was still a little bit smarter, and it actually started like collecting Yetis and organizing them.
Well, you could basically do like Planet of the Apes. You could do that sort of, like the plot lines of the newer movies, where like they're organizing and forming little militias or armies or whatever, take out the humans.
I could definitely see that like this guy leading an army down from the north, during the winter season, and attacking basically just bulldozing over all the villages and towns they come through. But when they hit the first walled city, the refugees have been flooding in. They hear the rumors, but no one really believes it because Yetis have never gathered like this before.
Right.
But for whatever reason, you have this one, and there's an army of Yetis at the gates.
So they're all white and they're walking towards the town.
I want to throw this bottle of words. No one even likes that show anyway.
Yeah, right. Like, what is it? George R. R. Martin, please.
Yeah. So, no, I'm just saying, like, that, to me, that would be kind of a fun way. And you're right, there's a ton of cool things you can ally Yetis with. You got frost giants, you got evil winter
you got to get something that's going to deal with fire for them, really, is the thing. Like, they have to...
No, they wouldn't, because they're not vulnerable to fire, but they fear it.
Yeah, they're afraid of it. You got to get something that's
going to use deal against them. I thought you were saying they need an ally with fire.
Yeah, they need, like, water elementals or something on their side.
Yeah.
To, like, just douse out the fire.
Firefighters. They just need firefighters.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, they're too afraid to do it, so they need to, like, enslave people to be a bucket brigade for them. So...
you could actually, whoever is driving them could honestly be using fire to control them.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
because
a fire giant goes up, and they're like, this is what's going to happen.
I wouldn't necessarily say it have to be a fire giant.
It's got to be a fire giant. Yeah.
It could only.
He's got like hellhounds that like just nip at them, like herds them, like sheepdogs, basically. Yeah,
the hellhound is the ultimate sheepdog.
Against Yetis. Yeah,
except for this sheep will snap your freaking neck.
Well, except for they're too afraid. They have disadvantage against their attacks and stuff. Like they're a little afraid of it. Especially when
they pass that save, that dog's going down.
Yeah, there's no saving throw. Well, wait, the hellhound is there's saving throw against their fear. No, it's just they have disadvantage for their fear. Like
they just have disadvantage.
Yeah. So I mean,
still, you back a Yeti into a corner, even if you got a torch. Yeah. There's a good possibility he's going to shove that torch up your ass.
I mean, that's kind of a GM fiat call because it might choose to go around you or further afield. Backing up into a corner is another thing.
Maybe.
Well, that's what I mean. If you backed it into a corner, it's probably going to fight, whether you got fire or not.
But on an open, frosty plain,
it may just move away.
But you could moving it away when you're talking about sheep and herding, like you're moving them in the direction you want them to go.
So throw a huge snowball at your torch.
Yeah, they're smart enough to figure something out.
No, it's a hellhound. It's made out of fire, so. And the hellhound's probably not going to be happy about being in the Arctic anyway. So nobody's happy all around. Like, this is totally... Yeah.
How to make your campaign of grumpy monsters?
Yeah, that's right. Just pissy, angry monsters. Yeah.
I'm just thinking of, like, grumpy Smurf.
Yeah.
I'm just seeing this as a a comic panel. You've got this hellhound on this snowy mountain, releasing this melting the snow all around it. So it's all going downhill. Melting further snow and then refreezing into ice. And he's got a grumpy look on him. Kind of trying to herd the Yeti going on, and the Yeti's got a grumpy look on his face because there's the
then they round the hill of snow, and there's the abominable Yeti that just breathes cold on the hellhound and turns it into an icicle.
Well, I was saying, and then like the last panel is going to be unleash hell, and then it's a grumpy cat, like leading them on, So yeah,
Could it be Grumpy Hellcat?
it could be grumpy hellcat. Could do that. Yeah.
It's totally going to be a thing.
Totally a thing. So I also really love the idea of like the sort of mountainous like raiders using, basically they would overhunt the game in the area to force the Yeti to attack the more civilized lands. It's like, well, if you want game, there's fresh game over in that village.
No, yeah, in the flavor text, that is really...
There's like plot seeds like out the wazoo for the Yeti.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Basically how it talks about where rivals can use them against each other, which is kind of unique because I haven't seen anything like that anywhere else in the Monster Manual.
Yeah. I mean, there's like each entry is like a thread. Like, there's an instant way to use this in your game.
There's a small handful of little paragraphs scattered throughout the book that pretty much say this is a plot thread that you can work with, but with the Yeti, it's every single one is something like that. So
yeah.
So the other way to use a Yeti is, what if you had like a good Yeti?
Yeah.
No, you're just talking crazy talk.
I know. Yeah. I like to do that sometimes.
Yeah.
So so you can introduce a Yeti as an NPC character, and that would be actually like, I think that would be a better place to put the Druid Yeti. Mm-hmm. In your campaign, maybe it's like the old wise man that your party has to go out and seek because he's got information they need, or he knows about an ice artifact that they need to stop some cataclysm, or maybe he's got the information they need to stop the Yeti invasion.
Yeah, his name will be Old Snowbeard, I think. Just like this big bristly beard of like white fur that comes down, and he becomes like this sort of like folklore type of character. Kind of like a Paul Bunyan or whatever, like the American folktale heroes or whatever.
Was your Snowbeard? Did you use Snowbeard? Was
that the name of the thing you came up with, or is that something? Redbeard. You had Redbeard.
Yeah, Redbeard. Yeah.
Yeah, because you were going for like a Santa Claus.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I could see this like sort of I don't know, folklore, folk hero sort of mythic thing. Nobody believes it exists because it's like a good, intelligent Yeti. Like these things are all paradoxical, but he really does exist. Maybe he gives out presents.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe in Chimes of Discordia, we're going to have to do a holiday around Snowbeard.
Well, I mean, so I did that in a past campaign. I did that Father Winter's Day, which was basically the Santa Claus sort of thing. Yeah, I'll kick you in the nuts. So we could kind of reskin that a little bit and work that in. So yeah, Yeti Santa Claus essentially. Yeti Claus. Yeah, it's a
Yeti Claus.
Yeti Claus. Yeah. Wow. So could be a thing.
It could be a thing.
Right.
Some Nightmare Before Christmas.
It does this like twisted version. Yeah.
Sandy Claus.
Well, no, you could totally do split the balance between Krampus, like a Krampus sort of figure, and Santa Claus. So like the good boys and girls, he brings presents. The bad little boys and girls, he eats or puts in a sack or beats them with switches. Like that's totally the Krampus, the Yule Lord sort of.
Dude, no. What if he took the bad ones away and turned them into Yetis?
Maybe that could be a thing too.
Where do Yeti babies come from?
Where do Yeti babies? Yeah,
Snowbeard.
Yeah. Snowbeard makes them. Yeah.
So he's like the yin and yang of the Yeti.
Yeah. Well, that fits with the druidic thing. Yeah. And like that's all a myth. He doesn't really turn them into, but he may eat them. He may eat their children. That may be really a thing.
The horrible things we create live on the air.
Yeah. Well, I think it will just be the superstition. He doesn't actually eat the children, so you can rest safely there.
Maybe. We have 3 different DMs here that think differently. So in one campaign, he may be eating the children. In another one, he may be turning them into Yetis. And in a third, it may all just be a myth.
Well, he could use them as the elves to make the toys for the good boys and girls. Child slave labor.
He turns them into Yeti elves. Yeti toy elves.
Yeah. There you go.
All right, this is going way
off the rails. So, this toboggan has slid off the track here.
Yeah. So let us know what you think of all of the horribleness of the Yeti and the horrible versions that we want to do with it. While you're doing that, feel free to like, share, even subscribe.
You can find us over on nerdarchy.com.
And while you're at nerdarchy.com, check out Nerdarchy the store.
So until next time,
stay nerdy.